A very good morning and a warm welcome. I am pleased that you are here with us as customers. I would also like to warmly welcome the competitors who have already been actively participating in the chat during the first online seminar of the day. And that is the key word. Please feel free to use our chat function. Feel free to interact with me. I am happy when you ask me questions, which I will gladly answer, regardless of which participant it is. Yes, before we start, we have a new product, the SL Alu Beaver tail hook, which is also suitable for slate roofs. We will talk about that shortly. I am particularly pleased because we have been able to fill a gap here. But before we get started, I see gloves lying around on my desk all day, and it's incomprehensible, because with SL Rack you don't need gloves, as everything is deburred with us. That means SL polished, hear the keyword, all the products we have, so that they cannot injure themselves. Costs you nothing. In production, we have one additional step here. We are happy to do this. We resolve it through our tumbling machine in our own production. And as a result, our products are such that anyone who wants to injure themselves will always find a way to do so. I believe this is clear to everyone, but the person standing on the roof should have the minimal risk of injury. I mentioned it. New hook that looks as follows, made of aluminium, with our proven clamping combination at the top for horizontal and vertical rail mounting. And we can see in the presentation that it is made of aluminium. Compared to the previous model, we were using stainless steel with the cross connector, standard beaver tail hook, which of course still has its applications. And the great thing is that, in 2021 this new hook can be used for both slate roofs and beaver tail hooks, or even on roofs with very little load. For instance, somewhere in southern regions, or in other countries, apart from Germany. I received the first photo the 12th of September. There's snow in the Bavarian forest. If anyone wants to see it, feel free to message me on WhatsApp. Therefore, I also advise against using tiles that we have not depicted here under heavy snow loads. Yes, the function as mentioned, for slate roofs. Here we also have a gimmick included, namely the speed flash from Genius Flash from the English or UK market. And the great thing about the hook I have here is that it is height adjustable. This means I also have my tight 30mm rail height adjustment or 25mm as shown here in the presentation. I have a low weight. I don't need to cut any tiles, except for the slate hook, but that's a different matter. And it is of course suitable for the installation of single-layer rails or in cross-laminated structures, or when the rafter spacing is appropriate, then also single-layer rails from top to bottom. Alright, let's take a look at the next page of the slide. Then we will briefly go over the accessory components again. Here, it is also the case that this hook can be used with the SL waterproof. I will just use that briefly now. That means, perhaps we will briefly go over to the close-up shots. This is waterproof. I am now sticking it to a specific spot. It can also be used here to create an additional seal. It is now rather unlikely, as we have the situation here that the beaver tail hooks or the beaver tail roofs have a considerably steep roof pitch. This means that water can drain off very easily. I would like to show you how we now install the roof hooks. And for that, we will go into a close-up of our beaver tail roof. In this case, I have made a preparation. We have included spacers here, as the 25mm at the bottom may not always be sufficient for your roof. In this case, the hook fits perfectly here. I'll grab 2 wood construction screws and secure the hook through the washers. In this case, the hook is completely on the roof surface. Here, preparations are already underway for our next online seminar at 1 p.m. with the beaver plate. In this case, as mentioned, the hook is positioned as the beaver tail hook has always been. I have the underlay plates, again, overlapping in steps of 2 and 5mm. This means that the plates do not slip on the roof. Instead, they have small adjustment noses, which prevent them from slipping in length. This is very convenient. You can insert them here and then secure them. In this case, the hook is properly installed. For those who, as mentioned, do not want any pressure on the tiles, I can recommend the beaver plate. We will discuss that afterwards. In this case, we will cover our roof again. So, that's it all done. The hook is sticking out at the bottom. I'm going to install a rail as well. We can, let's say, work again with the tried and tested rail systems here. In this case, I'm using the rail 40. I can adjust it in height, which is very, very important. And the rail is fixed. Interestingly, we can continue working just the same. Here, we can set up our lightning protection. We could install the wrong side. We could place the roof hook seal, and so on. And that is important to me. I will show you the whole photo again, how it is all assembled, or the complete picture of how everything is mounted. I think we have a really great solution with the aluminium hook here, although we have slightly reduced the support width. We have a product for you here that is not only very interesting in terms of price, but also statically and structurally stable enough. Soon, it will be available in the Solar Pro tool for planning. We have a message, right? Okay, message retracted. All clear. Second chance. Feel free to write again if there are any questions. Yes. The beaver tail is relatively simple, as you can see in the background, on our large roof. Or back here. I must say, where are we with the beaver plates? Here, the customer cut the tiles back then. So, we obviously want to avoid having to cut tiles. We don't need to do that in our example either. That's quite pleasant, and if you have any questions here, please feel free to contact us. That means we support them in that regard. I must say, this new beaver tail hook is not yet available in the price list. We are showing it to you for the first time today, so that you know, okay, this is coming my way, and we can then support everyone who wants beaver tail roofs. The interesting thing about it is that we naturally have a market in England and Ireland, where we also have sales personnel on the ground. There we have sales colleagues who are working the market. We also have new wholesalers who are handling the market for us. Therefore, we naturally need adequate products. And with the new beaver tail hook or slate hook, we have the opportunity to cover two types of roofs with one additional product. In this case, it usually has to start briefly, like this. So far, beaver tails have been processed with beaver, slate with slate, and replacement plates with a stock screw, along with a seal. Then the tiles were laid over it and so on, or the 2001 was incorporated. This is, of course, cumbersome. It can certainly be done more easily, and one must adapt to the conditions of a market. Therefore, we are in close contact with the manufacturer, Genius Roof Solutions, who offer this product called Flash, which is used in this market. If anyone would like to test the product, please feel free to write to us, or you can write to me directly. Perhaps you would also like to try it out here on a beaver tail or slate roof with us, just to see if it works or if it doesn't. In this case, the slate is cut out using an angle grinder, referred to as a flex, and the replacement plate, this plastic replacement plate from Genius, is pushed upwards with a spring. Let me show it again. The plate is pushed upwards, and the whole assembly is secured with a spring to prevent the replacement plate from slipping down. And then it is like this. In this case, I have already installed it 2 or 3 times today. I have a small spacer, like a wooden block, with me. And I first place this wooden block, as well as the foam rubber that is included, because of course the opening here is already extremely large. I put it over first. Please place the hook carefully and make sure to secure it properly for me. Of course, you should use a Torx 40 screwdriver for this task and avoid using an impact wrench. The tools you need are over there on the workbench. Take your time to ensure everything is done correctly and securely. So, the hook is secured, which is great, and it has a distance of about 2 centimeters downwards. I close this hole here, pull the hook up a bit, and it is a clean finish. It is secure, nothing can penetrate under the roof. Anyone wanting to give it a try is welcome to inquire and install it. And then we simply place a cover over it here, and we will install it again now. And then it will be closed. It does look a bit quirky now, I have to say. We might not be used to this in Germany. We also have very few slate roofs, that must be said at this point, but it is a really great solution for building such roofs without stress. It is very important to maintain a distance to the panel below to build stress-free with little pressure and in a clean manner. Here we have a small EPDM spacer for this beaver tail hook, which can be placed underneath. Anyone who wants to do this can go ahead. Yes, now I need to take a look at the presentation. We will go through it very briefly again. We discussed replacement products, and that's it for now. In this case, it is not tried optimization, but something new brought to the market. I am very pleased, and so is the team from SL Rack, or rather, the team from SL Rec and I personally, that we are always in tune with the times here. Well, I could have perhaps mounted this a bit more nicely, but today I am not a fitter, and usually the fitter looks at the front and not around the corner to the left. Is our task to be innovative or to innovate, even if in this case it is a small product, but this small product makes the life of the installer significantly easier. That means beaver tail hooks or something like beaver tail hooks and slate in one. A really great mix, a really great idea. And of course, that is also our aim, that a price list or a catalogue does not keep expanding, but that we also take a step back. I thank you for the moment. Subscribe to our newsletter. Very important for you to know when this beaver tail hook is available. Essential for me you stay up to date. I am glad that you were here and I say thank you. I wish you a nice lunch break and we will see each other again at 1 p.m. when we talk about replacement panels, beaver tail panels, alpha panels and beta panels. When do you need them? When do we need it? When do we install it? Why do we install it? Would like to discuss that. Thank you. Take care. Goodbye. Cheers.